Why do you need a retirement plan? Growing old can be expensive. Although frivolous expenses might reduce, medical bills are only likely to rise. And adding to that, the burden of inflation and not having enough money to sustain future expenses can cause stress and worry. We have with us a financial expert and business analyst, Mr. Charles Fakoha, to educate us on the need to have a retirement plan, a huge one, and ensure financial stability in your later years without depending on others. Mr. Charles Fakoha, thank you so much. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Okay. All right.
Samson, good morning.
Oh, you know him already. Okay.
Yes.
I guess I'm not that popular with you. All right, Mr. Fakoha. Now, a lot of persons or parents have their children as retirement plan. Talking about retirement plan, is that a good retirement plan to start with?
Well, first of all, let me even start with a quotation.
Okay.
You know, they say, what does it profit men and women if they spend all their money and they suffer penury in old age? Realities in retirement, one of them is believing that your children will take care of you. I will tell you, that is very, very unreliable.
But is it out of place to believe your children will take care of you?
It is out of place.
Having taken care of them all through the years?
Yes, you've taken care of them, you've done everything for them, and the realities of the economic situation will make them not that they don't love you, they love you, but they also have their own personal issues. We all know how survival is today in our country, the economic realities. You have a son, he has his family, he's hustling to make things better for them. He will not think of you. However, he can decide to send money to you, you know, but relying on your children to take care of you during retirement is a very wrong plan, and we have busted that orientation a long time ago.
Okay, looking at retirement now, you know, the notion is that at all times people should have, you know, a bit of savings to guarantee that. But there are those who will tell you, for example, parents that you've talked about, that the responsibilities that comes with parenting, you know, sending your kids to at least a decent school, providing a decent accommodation, feeding and all of that, leaves very little, you know, in terms of saving that would sustain them for their retirement age, especially when they have probably 20, 30 years after retirement to leave. So, for those who hold these thoughts, what's your, should I call it counter suggestion now to that thought? Because I know financial analysts will tell you that's still not a valid excuse, you know, not to
prepare for your retirement. Yes, we must realize that preparing for retirement, the government itself cannot do it for you. Your employers cannot do it for you. The only person that can do your retirement is yourself. So from day one, you must recognize that responsibility. You yourself, you have to take personal responsibility for your financial future. Now, the government can do the little they can. Your employers can do the little. But we are saying you cannot depend on your company's pension plan. Inflation, today we're talking about 18.6%. So if you retire and you are being paid 200,000 naira, and we know that the way things are, people believe that before, once you retire, after 5 years you are dead. But we have seen people who live more years in retirement than even while they were working. So who takes care of you? That it must be deliberate action from you. And I always tell people, as an analyst, financial advisor, I say the very first day you are given a letter of employment, that is that same day you yourself, you begin to plan for your retirement.
So I'm trying to imagine someone is giving a letter of employment at age, let's say 25,
25,
25.
Yes, 25, yes.
And then he or she might decide to, some people want to retire before, some people love to retire early.
Yes.
Early retirement. I'm a fan of that. For instance, I want to retire at 50. So from 25, I start planning. Well, you understand that a lot of things may come in, and even if you had kept in between, you just want to touch it for one or two things. So as a financial advisor, how does a lady of 25 years old who is probably
25 years old?
Yes, will start planning for a retirement of maybe 50.
Okay, good. You see, we don't know what the future holds. And as you start working, there's a tendency for you to, you want to experience life, But the first thing we'll say is, first of all, you need to pay yourself first. Once you collect your salary, the first person you pay is yourself. Not the one you pay your landlord, you pay your dry cleaner, you pay your food seller, you pay every other person. But you, that slave that has worked 247, 30 days, it's unfair. You don't pay that person first. You want to settle every other person before you pay yourself. So you should pay yourself, because you see, the government is also very tricky. The government takes their money before it gets to you. So if government takes their own, that's tax, and you have settled with the man upstairs, why won't you be the next person to be paid? You pay yourself. You must have an account where that money goes automatically. You don't even know you have earned it. Then you cannot survive with whatever is left, and you go with your life. Now, you have a plan. Save at least minimum 10% monthly at that age 25. Make it an habit, because we are saying savings is an habit. Now, when you have saved, the next thing you need to do is, first of all, you need to have at least 6 months of your normal living expenses in your bank account, where you don't need to touch it. So, in case an emergency happens in the future, you have what they call an emergency fund to fall back to. You can now do an insurance plan. Yes. After you have done those two, a savings plan, insurance plan, you can now begin to have investment.
Sorry, Mr. Charles, let me just imagine a lady of 25. This, of course, it's reality. Earning something like 100,000 at 25, and then you're having to do all of these things. 10% you're saving, that's 10,000 naira. For people who pay tithe, you 10,000 naira, that's 20k out. You're saving 10,000, of course 20,000.
You forget the government tax, yes.
For government tax, it depends on how much they're going to collect. For instance, they collect 5,000. That's 25,000 naira out of it. Then you're having to invest for 100,000 naira. We know transportation alone in a month can take you more than or up to half of your salary. So what does I'm trying to imagine the reality of the 100K.
Now let's look at the reality.
Okay.
If you pay me 100,000 naira and I cannot save 10,000 naira, increase my salary to 1 million, I can't save 100,000. That's why I say it's an habit. You have to be deliberate about it. That is as simple as that. And for every habit, me and you know, if you want to cultivate a good habit, just try it for 3 weeks. Your 21 days. Your subconscious takes over. And you just see yourself, automatically you are saving. So any month you don't save, just see yourself that you are consuming your future income. Because after all those deductions you have made, since you don't have access to those savings, don't go and put it in an account where any little thing.
You have the card there.
You have the card there, you go and collect. Put it in an account where you don't even have access to it. Leave it for some time. When you have saved enough, and like we have said, you already know your expenses for the month. For 6 months, you know your expenses. So in that your savings account, you should have that amount of money that will take care of you for the next 6 months. In case your employer say, okay, we don't even need your services again. Before you get another job, you will live a normal life. At first, it might look difficult, but over time, and that's why we say every tax is difficult before they become easy.
But how do you know you're expensive for the month? Since in this kind of economy we have expenses fluctuate.
Inflation.
So you can have, for instance, someone was talking about transportation. Okay, for we now fuel. Having to go to the fuel with fuel of 5,000 naira or 6,000 naira would fill up the tank. But a fuel of 6,000 naira will not even fill up the tank anymore. So imagine I have my salary and I'm taking out 6,000 naira for a week, depends on how I use the fuel now without air condition, 2 weeks or up to 2 weeks. And I'm saying 2 weeks, 6,000 naira, and it doesn't even go to the station. You're not buying for 180. Some people sell 200.
Even as high as even 300.
So you don't even have. For instance, I say I want to buy food stuff for the month for 40,000. I go to the market and 40,000 will not even take me up to 3 weeks. How do you not know your expenses?
Good. All what you have just raised, they are valid.
Okay.
They've been like that before. You can go home and ask our parents. At one point in time, minimum wage in this country was 7,500.
7,500, yeah.
People lived and survived. All these issues you are saying, well, they came out. What we are saying is, first of all, I don't want to use the word budgeting. Now you see, as big as Nigeria, we have a budget. And before we spend a kobo, our lawmakers will approve it. They say appropriation. Now, even a company, before they even buy this this cup here, or these seats we are sitting, it was budgeted for. For individual, I'll call it planned spending.
Okay.
Over time, you could have known how much you spent. And how do you do that? You keep record. It's very simple. There are software you can use, but we don't even need to go that technical. Get a small notepad. Get a sharp pencil. Every expenses on a daily basis, record it. I'm telling you, at the end of the week, sum it up. You'll be amazed as to how much you are spending unnecessarily. And you will see where the money is going. Those are variable expenses. You cannot reduce it. So that we don't differentiate between our wants and our needs. It's as simple. The necessities that you cannot do without, like you have said, foodstuffs, this in the house, electricity bill, fuel, all those are necessities that we need. So you have enough for those ones. But I'm telling you, the first thing you do, set aside, you just remove it. You will survive with what is remaining. But what happens to young people? They don't have any budget. It's not the budget you do when your salary has entered your account. Though. That's what you are writing. No, you have a planned budget over time. You say, okay, there's nothing wrong. Thank God it's Friday. You go and relax either with the boys or with the girls. You relax. If you go there and maybe you do, for the boys, you do 2 or 3 bottles, you can reduce it. So if you keep record of your expenses, you'll be able to see where money goes unnecessarily. And with that, you can cut down. And all this things you're saying, you can now save for your future.
Okay, earlier you said you didn't want to call it budgeting, but
yes, planned spending.
Planned spending. Now, I know there are various, financial coaches who give you various, figures as to how to save up percentages. Yes. Now, you said 10% savings on a monthly basis in terms of hitting that, retirement plan that will be robust to take care of one's, when one is old. But that also tell you it should be probably 30% of your salary that should be kept aside for your savings, either for retirement plan or a savings plan, which onward can now become an investment plan.
Yes.
My question to you is this: what's the ratio for savings to expenses then to investments? That also will tell you you should also invest from your salary.
Of course.
And let's take 100,000 for example. Speaking about an average Nigerian. Within 100,000, we talk about maybe 20,000 for transportation, utility bills, maybe under 10,000 thereabout. That's 30 already. So what's left is 70. Within that 70, there's still the place of feeding for the month.
Of course.
But how much will you now appropriate for savings, especially towards a retirement plan?
Yes, it's not one size fits for everybody.
Okay.
Depending on your own makeup.
Yes.
Yeah, But what we are saying, even that 10% is even the minimum.
Okay.
That's the minimum. Some persons, you see, it's habits. You just have to develop that habit. It is not easy, I said it here. But you must be conscious about it. Now, talking about, yes, 100,000 is small. As a young person, you work 9 to 5. Is there any law that stops you from doing other legal things that will augment your income? Nothing. You close here 9 to 5. You could just move around. Maybe if there is a GC class around, you've read one course, and you can start doing tutorials there. 1 or 2 hours, and they pay you. I've seen young doctors that have advised that you work in this hospital full time. You have your days off. Why not do calls somewhere you get? Because there is no time the money is enough. I'll just tell you a short story.
Yes.
When we talk to young person, they say, okay, we are working in the civil service, that's why we can't save. that the take home is not enough to take us home. We ran for private sector, those in the banks. They said the money is not enough. What is happening? We now run this same program for those working in the oil companies. It was the same excuse. The money is not enough. Meanwhile, those in the private sector said, okay, if we're in the oil companies. Okay. We now said, okay. What happened? Oil companies are supposed to be highest paid. They now told us if they were politicians, probably they could save. But we tried to run the program for politicians, young assembly members, but they refused to come for the program. So what we are saying is enough is not enough. It is you, the individual, that will decide for yourself. When is enough enough? When you have decided that you are not going to work again. It does not mean you're not going to work. But each time you come to work or you go for your business, it's out of hobby, pleasure. You are going to catch fun. Because the investments you have made, not the money you are working for them to pay you, your investments, maybe insurance, you have bought shares, you have property, the returns that are coming are able to take care of your expenses.
Okay.
Even if you still have children that are in university, you don't need to work. Again, retirement is not something that you say you are going to stop working. You can get a new career. And I've seen people who retire in the military, in the police. And before you know what, because of their experience, they get a new job in the in the oil and gas company. And they are doing better. So retirement is not something you see as the end as score. No. Another thing I must mention again, your health in retirement is very key. Like you said in your intro, medical bills will increase because of old age. You should graciously be happy that you are becoming old. I've seen people tell, I don't like old age. For me, you are just doing yourself a disservice. You should embrace old age. And who tells you there are things you do when you were young you cannot continue? Yes, but we are telling you, moderate. I've seen 94 years old man and a wife, 91 years old. They go to a club. They catch fun. They dance. So you should have a positive mental attitude towards retirement. And you can see that you will live more years while you are retired than even when you were working. So it's a matter of you deciding that yes, all those things we've been told about retirement before, just disregard them and look at the realities.
Okay. I mean, you've talked about the need to save for retirement from one's salary.
Yeah.
We're looking at investment as well now, because you mentioned earlier that the returns on investment should be able to take care of expenses at this point in time. So as a financial broker, a financial analyst, what are those investments you can suggest? I know it's always a shaky ground for most of you. You try to avoid it, but we're talking about smart investments that would lead to a robust retirement for people, for the average Nigerian. What are those smart investments you think the average worker now can invest in while they're still working, so that by the time they hit retirement age, they have so much to fall back on?
That's a very good question. Looking at the issue, like I said, it's not one size fits for everybody. You work in an organization 9 to 5. An investment you can also do is, for professionals, I advise them, you can get involved in the stock markets.
Oh, okay.
Even if it is 5,000, 10,000 on a regular basis.
Okay.
Also habits. Every month, you just send it to your stockbroker and they buy shares for you. Now, the type of shares they buy for you will also look at, you are young, you can afford to take certain risks, but I always advise calculated risks. You look at the company you are investing in, that sector, is that sector growing?
Okay.
Is that particular company doing so well? You can invest. The oil and gas sector is there. The banking sector is there. The telecom is there, because we are seeing it. With your 10,000 naira or 5,000 on a monthly basis, or as it suits you. That is one investment. Then nothing stops you from also looking at insurance. Because whether we like it or not, eventualities will happen. Things out of your control. You can have all this plan in place. If something happens, the unexpected happen, you can no longer work. If you have an insurance policy, that can go a long way in ameliorating your sufferings. There's one funny thing about even this retirement we're talking about. If you think it is work, you want to work at 50, it will get to a stage. You want to run, you can't run. Yes. Let me give myself an example. I used to play football very well. But now, if I go to FHA in first time, before I do one of these things, I am tired. I have to play with my mates who are 45 and above. So you can see, where you are working is even very funny. Even if you put 35 years, they know you, oh, you're a good manager. When you come back there, some persons don't want to even greet you. They will say you are coming to disturb the ecosystem there. This Baba time has passed. And what is he coming to do here? No matter how good you are, after 35 years, they'll tell you what? And they give you one golden, is it wristwatch now? Or one cup. You go. And before you know what, we've seen people, they begin to come back to that, begin to beg and say, okay, come and give me this. No. But if you have planned for that, your retirement, yes, your standard of living might drop a little.
Yeah.
Yes. But we are saying with proper planning, good relationship, your standard of living might not need to drop. Take a typical example. A man works in a university, retires as a professor, and is good with the university community. We have what they call Professor Emeritus.
Yeah.
They can call you back at your own convenience. In fact, I know of a professor of physics who lives close to me. Every Tuesday, Thursdays, he goes to the public school close to his house to teach the young people physics at his own convenience. Voluntary. So if you think retirement is just go and sit at home, no, we have passed that level. You must keep, because the human brain, you must keep exercising it for you to live a longer life. And of course, with technology and medicine and other, people can live even up to 100 years as long as you take care of your health very well. My advice, though I'm not a medical doctor, if you smoke, please stop smoking. Because Surgeon General has told us smokers are liable to do what? Die young. So you need to be cautious about your health. What you eat, what you drink, you know. Then enough sleep. Enough sleep. People will argue with me. Say, in this Lagos, how can you sleep? I say, you sleep minimum of 8 hours a day. The best time to sleep is 10 p.m. and you wake up at about 6 a.m.
So sleep is also vital to
vital.
Smart retirement plan, alongside one's health as well.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's look at the place of the family now.
Yes.
The beauty about the family is there's always that responsibility, either from your siblings or extended relatives and what have you. So in instances where someone probably made a bad investment, and that has affected one's financial status, how can such a person recover enough to make a smart investment plan? I'm asking because you have those who are probably in their 40s who felt, they've made investments, they brought shares and all, but maybe the company liquidated and all of that.
What's outside your control? Outside your control.
Yes. So in such an instance, and they're edging close to retirement, how do people in that bracket navigate through the unfortunate incident to still be able to at least have a decent retirement plan?
Yes, like I said, when you are doing all this planning, we also have that G factor. I don't know why you agree with me. The God factor is there. There are certain things you can't control. You just pray as you plan. Now, there are a lot of responsibilities. You will be surprised that you will support your children. You can also support your grandchildren. I've said it. Grandparents who support their grandchildren.
Yeah.
Why? Economic realities. Maybe the father and mother are not doing so well. You cannot leave the grandchild that way. Probably they have done some little investment. They have a house. They're not paying rent again. And it's okay. Let your grandchild come and stay with me. So one thing about family now in retirement is very key. Strengthen your relationship with your loved ones, your wife especially. Strengthen that. In fact, that is the time you can begin to play all the love you want to play. That is the time you can rediscover yourself. Eventualities will happen. You may do an investment. You can even set up a company. The company can even collapse. But with that strong relationship with your loved ones, your wife, your children, you will navigate it. And of course, if you believe in the efficacy of prayers, yes, because it is the Almighty that controls everything that we see in the universe. So a strong relationship with your loved ones will help you in a long way in navigating some of the eventualities that will occur as you move along to retirement.
Okay. Well, I think that's you've spoken at length and in-depth analysis of what should and should not be done. I think, of course, it starts from the young age, right? You want to retire, your retirement starts from as young as you think you are.
Yes.
So I think that's a mistake and the misconception a lot of people have. They feel when they are getting old, it's time to start planning for retirement. No, we just learned a new thing there. Thank you so much, Mr. Fakroha. We appreciate your time on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, thank you very much for your time on the show.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. We'll go on a short break right now. When we return, the conversation continues. Please do stay with us.